Welcome back to Rocky Mountain Gardens, and if you're new to my channel, I welcome you as well, and I hope you will find some inspiration here as I do various gardening and home projects, tours, you name it. If you love beautifying your home and garden, you might want to subscribe. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I promised you all that after I published my first gardening journal for 2021, it was in March, and if you missed that video, I'll put a link down below and at the end of the video. But if you enjoy doing paper crafting, I guess you could say, and you also like journaling and especially keeping track of your gardening work, have I got a project for you. And as I said, I promised in March that in April I would continue decorating my altered book journal and also decorate the cover and make it just simply beautiful. So that's what we're doing today, guys. And I'm also going to be adding a few more tricks to taking an old book and altering it to be something so beautiful you will be so proud of. Let's go ahead and jump right in. I will be using my Waverly chalk paint in the color Pool. It's really a very pretty light aqua color, as you will see as I start painting here. And I'm starting with my detail brush in order to do the inside of the cover here. I do not want this brown showing. It really doesn't go with my color scheme in my garden journal. So just taking my time. It's not going to be perfect, but when you're working on what is called a junk journal, it can be kind of messy, and that's perfectly all right for the style of junk journals and altering an old book. So as you can see here, I'm finishing that up, and then I'm going to be starting on the cover, and I'm using this 1/2 inch chip brush, which is very inexpensive and can be used over and over again. Great, really great brushes. And by the way, I wanted to mention, especially in this video, that I have been watching a lot of junk journal videos from the Graphics Fairy. She has a web page, you may have heard of her, where she offers vintage illustrations and different kinds of graphics to use in your scrapbooking and card making, any paper crafting things. But she also has a YouTube channel with many crafters offering up ideas in their videos on her channel. It's fantastic. I will put a link down below in my description box for her YouTube channel, so check it out. After one coat of chalk paint on my book, you can still see through the original book cover, and so we're going to do a second coat on this to make sure it's completely taken care of and looks very nice for our next step, which will be decorating. I will be using Mod Podge for attaching my designer papers that you see here, and I'm just going to paint it on using that same chip brush. I sort of like Mod Podge for this particular job because I can cover the entire piece of paper on the back side and get a very smooth and very good adherence onto the cover of my book. And since the cover of your book will get the most wear and tear by using it for journaling and so on, you know, it's a good thing, a good product to use. But as you can see, I am also using a paper towel here to rub out any bubbles and also to check the edges to make sure I don't have any Mod Podge oozing out. That would not look so much like a very pretty finish to the page. And on this back, the only thing I'm doing is putting on the decorative paper. Now we're going to move to the front where I will again attach another type of decorative paper there with the Mod Podge. And that'll be the base for this design that I'm going to be doing on my cover. And then I'm switching over to my art glitter glue here to attach a piece of lace. And I just happened to have in my stash some lace that was the exact width of the spine of this book. And so it just fit perfectly and gives a, a little bit of a finishing touch to the spine. And of course, I will be pushing down the lace into the glue with my paper towel. And it's sticking to my fingers a little bit here, as you could see. But I will go over it with the paper towel to get any extra glue out that might be oozing out and make sure that it adheres properly. And here you can see I have created a layout. I put everything together on the cover, and now I'm beginning to attach the pieces. And I do like using an old book page, and guys, that paper of an old book page is actually from one of the pages I tore out of my journal. So those book pages make great ephemera to do collages with in your journal. So be sure to save them. And guys, also I wanted to add that I have a picture here in the top left corner of this art glitter glue that I have been using with my journal. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about it. It's called art glitter glue. However, it has no glitter in it whatsoever. It's a little bit confusing to people sometimes. I think they named it that because it was originally created for using with glitter, that you shake on a line of glue to get that glittery look on a page. So that was the origin of the name, but there is no glitter in the glue. It allows you to do a thin bead of glue on your papers. It is very fast drying, so you can move on and complete your project. You don't have to wait for things to dry. And it dries clear. So even if there is some overspill of your glue, you will never see it on your finished product. And oh my goodness, it is just a fantastic glue that I learned about originally when I was scrapbooking, and it works for everything so well. Now this arrow that you see appearing here is pointing to the alphabet stamps that I used to create the title of my journal, Garden Journal, and I just stamped them on paper and tore them the edges so that it would have a vintage look, and then I'm attaching them with the art glitter glue. And guys, it's so pretty. My final project turned out so nice. I really like this collage that I created, and I hope you do too. There it is. Really nice. And you can see the back is very smooth and the lace is adhered nicely to the spine. So this is my tentative layout for April, and I'm going to go ahead and take off my pieces. And first we will start by distressing the edges of my calendar for April. And then we'll glue this piece down. And we're using art glitter glue again. So I'm just going to press down from the center. And then I don't have any days down here, so I want to add a little interest with this lace and a flower. So we'll put on the lace first, again adding some of this wonderful glue. And I like to take a paper towel to dab this down. And art glitter glue does dry clear, so you don't have to worry about it showing through the lace later. It's quick and easy for an application. And then I'm going to sit this flower right here. More glue. And we'll place it, right about there. And lastly, I wanted to add a little butterfly up here by the name of the month. Very cute. And there is that layout for you. Now my next step is going to be to show you how to make a flap. You can see I have a 1/2 inch flap right here on this two-sided paper. And what I'm going to do is attach this flap right here on the back side. And what that is going to give me is more real estate. I can flip this over and I will have more real estate to journal on or decorate, whatever I want to do. So in order to do that, we're going to use some score tape and put it onto the flap itself, just like this. And I'll, snip this off. And we're going to attach this on this back side here that is blank. Well, let's see what we got like that. So we're going to remove the score tape. So we're going to attach it right here in the middle of the page. Let me do that. Now it's attached. But you say, what about this flap here? That shows. Well, we're going to cover that up. And we'll do that by starting first to tear out 6 of these pages. And then we're going to glue these 2 pages together, and that will cover up the flap right here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to do it from this side. So I'm going to add glue right here on the edges. I am gluing my pages together here to cover the flap and also the remains of the pages that I tore out. And now I'm going to do some collaging and adding in my weekly journal pages. And there I am distressing the pages. I just really like that distressed look, and I stick with black throughout the entire book. and that way they kind of all go together. And guys, you can use other colors of ink if you have them and you'd like to have that variation, no problem. And I am so sorry, my big old head is in the way here on some of these uh, shots that you're looking at. And I am a little bit out of the camera range on some of the work I'm doing. So I do apologize to you for that. Guys, I also want to say, use your stash. You can buy a very inexpensive old book at the Goodwill, thrift it for maybe $2, $3, and there you have your book if you just go ahead and use up papers that you already own and are already sort of uh, filling up your craft room. And also, lastly, here I am doing a collage on the flap, and it's just sort of an intro to April collage and celebrating that month. And then on the other side, I will be doing and you'll see it later, excuse me, in my video, I'm going to be doing on the back side of the flap a place where I can put all of the garden projects that I need to accomplish in April. And actually, this is the last thing I wanted to be sure to mention, that I have all of these forms, the calendars, weekly journal, and the sentiments and so on are available in my Google Drive, and I am going to be putting a link to that in the description box below, so you can print them off and use them in any journal you would like to create as well. So this next thing I did, I created a pocket at the top of this page, and I did that by only gluing the bottom and the side and leaving the top open so we can use it as a pocket. Here is the piece of heavier cardstock that I'm going to be using for an insert, and we're going to go ahead and glue some pieces on that I have here. So we will start right here with this card that I can write on if I wish, any kind of information. So that is going to go down here toward the bottom of the card. And then I have a nice quote about gardening that is going to be part of this. We'll attach that right up here. And then I think I'm going to use a bit of washi tape on this for a little extra decoration. Just to make that relatively simple. And then on this side, I plan to do my prayers and gratitude. So this is going to be going up here. And I have this little floral bouquet that we're going to glue down here in the corner. So we'll start with that bouquet. Right down here in the very corner. And then my prayers and gratitude. Up here. As you can see, this now, oopsie, here's my page with my pocket, and this will be able to slide in right there, but it's going to be sticking up just, I'll show you close up. It's sticking up just a tiny bit so that it's not difficult to pull out and easy to find and see. Now let's go ahead and decorate the rest. All right, friends, I thought we would do a little flip through to see my garden journal so far. And as a review, if you missed my first video, here's my cover page. Here is a remembrance of the original book from which I am altering and creating this garden and life journal. And then here's my reading journal. I have 2 pages for adding in books that I have been reading. Here is my welcome March page. Just a little collage with, you can see here, I have been using my journal in the month of March. I have written down my major appointments. And then over here, I have my prayers and gratitude page. And then I start my weekly journals, my plant wish list. And guys, I did take 2 tags from last summer of the types of tomatoes that I want to plant again this year. And I just used a paper clip to attach those. And then more weeks. And I wrote in here at the top the beginning date, the Sunday date of this week, March 14th, March 21st, as you can see. And then here's my review of some of the important things that happened and that I did during the month of March. Now in April, as you saw, I did this flip page, and I have very dirty hands right now from using all of the ink. This is the first page for April, and I'm going to get this backfilled to when April started. And here are garden projects that I want to list that need to be completed in the month of April. And here's a really nice quote that I simply adore because it's very true in my garden. I appreciate the misunderstanding I have had with nature over my perennial border. I think it is a flower garden, and she thinks it is a meadow lacking grass and tries to correct the error. So if you all are flower gardeners or even vegetable gardeners and have to fight the invasion of grass into your garden, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, and then we'll start with our weekly journals for the, we'll have a couple of days here that will be empty that were March days. And as you can see, I didn't do a lot of embellishments on these because I'm trying to be a little bit more simple and make sure that I can complete my journal in time. Since I'm a little behind on April, I've got to catch up, but I wanted to leave lots of room for journaling and planning. And so you can see there's like not as much embellishment, but guys, you can always go back and embellish more anytime you like to add to the interest of your pages. And then here's the pocket that I created where I made this pocket card, prayers and gratitude. And because this is a kind of a blank sheet, I can just write on here. And on the back side, I did another nice quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. This is so true. I think you'll agree. Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. And as a gardener, you definitely need quite a bit of patience. So I have room to write here, and I can even add more there if I so choose. Okay, here's another weekly journal page, and then here's my last one for the month of April. And here you can see I have collaged a page for my April review. I have a card here for recording any important happenings for April. And then I decorate it with lace and a page from a book and a beautiful rose. And then here we will continue in May, but I want you to just have a look at how easy it is to create, and that you too could alter a book and make it be something really pretty, but also practical, that you can use it to keep track of everything that's going on in your life and be sure to record dates that are important for the month, appointments, and so on. But in any case, that's my garden journal. And you might notice here that I added some lace. I'm not sure if I mentioned that earlier, but I so encourage you guys to try this out. I think you would find it very fun to create, number one, and number two, a wonderful tool for your gardening advances and new things that you've learned, new plants that you love, and so on. So guys, thank you so much for sticking through this long video to see the flip through here at the end. And I really hope it encourages you to try this out as well. So take care until my next video, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful spring. Until the next time, bye for now.